I just finished editing last week's vlog, so look at me getting right back into vlogging. I feel like I'm doing better with vlogging now. Like, it's becoming more like a part of my life again, the way it used to be before I moved in with my boyfriend, and it was weird for like 6 months, but like now I feel like I'm actually getting back into the swing of things. Reading update to start with, because this is a reading vlog. I am still about halfway through The Secret History, a little more than halfway probably, but I definitely need to like make more progress on this. I haven't in a minute, but yeah, I am getting way more into this as I go along, so it's nice. I like it. My thoughts have not really changed. I'm also making a lot of progress on The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. I am about 50 pages from the true end of the story, like where the book itself, or not the book itself, but where the main part of the book ends, and then you get into like acknowledgments and information and like references and stuff, because it's like a sciencey book, so it has all of that in the end, and there's a fair amount of that. 50 pages of actual book left, so I would like to finish this today and then maybe finish The Secret History tomorrow. That might be a big ask. I'm off today, but I do want to do like booktube stuff and filming stuff, and my laundry is going right now, so I can't film yet, which I should have done my laundry yesterday so that I could have just filmed today without worrying, but whatever. Exciting thing that I have, just start the vlog off with something very exciting. I got an ARC in the mail. I won this in a Goodreads giveaway that I talked about before, but it finally came, and that is Devil Darling Spy by Matt Colleen. I'm so excited. I'm literally so excited. Like, this book makes me so happy. It apparently takes place in Africa, which is cool. Because I don't know much about Africa during World War II, and apparently this book is like largely about Africa in World War II, but it's also an ARC. Look, the little ARC stamp. I have so many ARCs. Like, I've started taking ARCs whenever I get sent home early from a shift, because I'm like, I need the money, I'm poor, not having money makes me sad, and taking a book doesn't like solve that problem, but it makes me feel a little better in the moment. So every time I go home like an hour or two early, I take a book. I've been getting sent home early a fair amount. I have a couple, and I need to start reading them. So, yeah. I also need to stop taking them when I get sent home early, because that's just making every problem in my life worse. But I'm very excited for this. I'm so excited. I need to read this and The Splendid and the Vile this month. Like, those need to happen. And then a couple of the other ARCs that I have, like, come out either this month or next month. So I have to read those as well. And I have a lot of books to read. And I'm just adding more to my TBR instead of going through my TBR. So this is a problem, but also, like, free books. I like free books. Free books are fun. And, like, I really like this cover. It looks nice. And now I need to get a copy of Orphan Monster Spy, because it's the sequel to that. I read it last year and really enjoyed it, but I read a library copy, so I don't own a copy. And like, now I own this one, so I need to own the first one. But that will happen eventually. I'm so excited to have this, and I'm so excited to read it. And like, this is one of my most anticipated releases of 2020, and I hope it's as good as the first one. I really, really do. I did wind up finishing The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks yesterday. I wound up giving it 4 stars. I had some questions about the author and her motivations. It seemed strange that the Lacks family weren't getting any of the proceeds. I'm not really sure how that worked. I've been trying to do some research, but basically she set up a foundation for them and for like other people as well, just to like help them financially, but how much of her money came from that is kind of questionable, and if any proceeds they got from the book, kind of questionable. So I don't know, it felt weird that she seemed like yet another white person who was taking advantage of them, but I also don't know. There's not a whole lot of information available, which is rarely a good sign, because usually when people are like donating a bunch of money, they like you to know. Not everyone, but like the majority will make it at least available to be found. I was gonna try to read The Secret History today, but I'm buddy reading that with I'm buddy reading that with Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics, and I'm decently ahead of him by like 70 pages, so I don't want to like get too far ahead of him. So I'm gonna wait for him to catch up before I read any more, and I have too many other things that I can focus on. So I'm gonna wait until I read more of that. And today I'm focusing on Briar's book, From the Circle of Magic. This is the 4th and final one, and I am very, very excited to get through this. Hopefully, I really want to finish this because this was my January reread for the rereadathon, and yeah, I have finished the other 3, so it's not like I didn't do anything. I did finish one of them actually in January, but once I get this done, I can upload my rereadathon video for January because it's the middle of February now. But I do like this one a little bit more. I'm hoping... I've got like 220 pages left or something, but I'm hoping I could like actually finish it today just to like be done with it, because I would like to be done with it at this point. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either, and I would just like to have finished something. I'm also working on the Harry Potter audiobook still. I have about 3 hours left of the first book, which is more than I really wanted to have considering I have downloaded the second one. I had it on hold, and the hold just came in because it was supposed to come in a little bit later, but I guess someone returned it early, or like a couple of someones returned it early, so I have 2 weeks to finish the last 3 hours of the first one. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 20 days to finish the last 3 hours of the first one and all of the second one. So I might have to just like sit at home and listen to it at some point, because I don't want to have to return it, because it's like a 6 or 7 week wait list, I think, for most of them, because I've been on the wait list since decently into December, so it's been like a process getting those, and I don't want to have to like go back through that and wait even longer, because that's annoying. But yeah, Briar's book today, Harry Potter tonight, and then I've got about 9 or 10 or 12 more things that I want to read by the end of the month. And I don't know how this happens. Like, I do this to myself. These things don't just happen on their own. I actively do this to myself. There are just so many things that, like, I have a couple of arcs from the library. I have a couple of arcs that I picked up that are like coming out in February and March, and like I want to get those read before they come out, because I do feel like a little sense of like obligation. Like, I picked up these books, they're arcs, they're kind of intended for publicity purposes, and I feel like if I get an arc before a book comes out, I feel a little bit obligated to like read it and have a review for it up like when it's coming out. So I do want to like make an effort to get to those. And then there's some things that I really want to read, like Devil Darling Spy, which, I want to read that so bad, and I just can't because there are too many other things, and there's a lot going on. But I am hoping that like this weekend is Valentine's Day weekend, but I'm dog sitting, so I have a couple of nights to myself, and then Monday and Tuesday of next week I have off, so it'll be nice to have a weekend, and I'm hoping that I can just like get a bunch of booktubing stuff done, get a bunch of reading done. I don't have many videos that I can film. I have like 3, I think, that I'm capable of filming. So mostly it's just like watch booktube, edit some booktube, and read as much as freaking possible. It is Valentine's Day night, Valentine's evening. I just got off work, and I'm having a lovely, lovely romantic evening with the puppy. She's asleep. It was a long evening we had together. No, actually, I just arrived like 20 minutes ago, and she was thrilled. She greeted me, and then she was kind of like, okay, I'll sleep now that someone is here to watch over me. So, like, she's being a little sleepy. I'm dog sitting tonight, so ironically, despite living with my boyfriend, I didn't see him today. He kissed me goodbye this morning when he left for work, but I was still asleep, so I have vague memories of saying something like, Happy Valentine's Day, without opening my eyes because I was tired and slept until 10 a.m., which for me is quite late. But I'm just trying to watch some booktube. I am tired. I worked tonight. Not super long, but like I did work. I turned on like the one light that's shining down on me, which is why my face is weirdly shadowed and everything else is like dark behind me. I might read some, I might not. I might just watch some booktube and just like exist, or I might go to sleep soon. I'm quite tired. I have to work tomorrow. I'm dog sitting for this whole weekend. My dog is like anxious and like she's stressful. Like, she's the reason I don't really ever want to own a dog. Like, I love dogs to bits, but like, dogs just have a very different energy than cats. Like, they're both very like, how do I put this? Like, they both definitely require a lot of like responsibility and attention and care. Like, I'm not saying you can just get a cat and let it exist and not do anything, but like, dogs have a different energy where like, they need you. They have this like burning need for you at all times. Whereas like, cats can just kind of exist. You know, like, I definitely need to take care of Mima a lot. Like, I spend a lot of time taking care of Mima. But like, she can just exist. Like, if I leave for a couple of hours, I'm not worried that like she'll be okay. I don't like leaving her because like, you know, it sucks to be home by yourself for like a full day while everyone's at work, but I'm not like concerned that she'll be okay. Like, if I'm just sitting there and she's in a different room for 4 hours, I'm not worried about her, you know? Like, if I was home for 4 hours and didn't see my dog for that time, I would be very, very concerned. But like, with cats, it's just kind of like, they live their own lives and they love you dearly, but also they live their own lives, whereas dogs live your life. Dogs are there for you, and it's just like, that need kind of like stresses me out. So I'm here for the weekend. I brought like, I don't know if you can see back there. No, it's hidden. I brought like 2 bags of books with me, and I don't know why. Like, I'm pretending like I'm gonna do a bunch of reading this weekend where I'm actually gonna watch some booktube and like hang out with my dog. But I'll probably finish 1 book. I might finish 2, but like, even that's pushing it. But I brought 2 bags of books. And okay, a lot of them were like to put back on my shelves because I live with my boyfriend. I've talked about this before. We don't have much space for books. So pretty much I rotate books in and out. Like, I take books from home that I want to read like soon, you know, within months, years, like books that like I want to have a priority for. And then books that I've read and maybe don't necessarily need to have with me, but I still want to keep, I bring back to my parents' house because all my shelves are here, all my books are here. So it works because that way I don't have like too many books at my boyfriend's, because I wouldn't mind having floors just like covered in books, but he does not wish to. So I brought back some of the books so that I could put them back on my nice shelves. And my parents went through my shelves kind of like when they painted their bedroom. I think I mentioned this too. They painted their bedroom, so they were sleeping in my bedroom for like a month, and they had to move like all their stuff in there because they were painting. And that meant they kind of went through my room a bit, like just like moving things around so that they had space. I say my room, like I've slept in there in like the past year, but like they like moved stuff around, and they like were like, oh, like there are books other places other than the shelves, and like put them on the shelves. So now my shelves are like kind of out of order, and it just like irritates me, but I shouldn't do anything about it. I reorganized the Harry Potter shelf just because I was like, this needs to be right. Like, this needs to be right. But everything else, I'm like trying to make myself just leave it because I know it bothers me, and I know it's not fun to have things out of order, but I'm not here, so it doesn't need to be in order. And like, I don't know. It does irritate me though. But I'm gonna watch some more booktube and just lie on the sofa and maybe fall asleep because I'm tired. And I feel like it's been a long day, and work is just like a lot. I say that like I worked more than 5 hours today. Well, I worked 5.5, but like, that's not a long shift. That's not a real shift. But I'm still just very tired from it. I'm heading into work. I have to like go now. This is not a long update, but I did stop by the library and I picked up Queens of Finburn, which is the short story novella. It's very short. There are like 2 novellas in here that relate to the world. I'm gonna read all 4 of the books first, but I stopped by the library just to like kill time before work and see if my hold was in, because I put the 4th book of these on hold. I forget what it's called. Something about fates maybe. Or maybe the 3rd one is, I don't know. I put the 4th one on hold, and they didn't have it in yet. I should probably get it Wednesday. But I did grab this just because they had it there, and I don't know. I wasn't, like, super planning to read this, but also, like, I'm not against it. So, we'll see. Hopefully it's good. If, I don't know. I'll probably just, like, read it real quick, because she does have a very fast writing style. I'm, like, halfway through whatever the 2nd one is that I'm on now, and I do like it. It's not the greatest thing in the world. It's kind of choppy, but I'm very happy to be reading it, and it's nice to read a book where I'm just like kind of down for the ride. It is February 19th, which I believe is Wednesday. Cannot confirm that, but I think so. I have tomorrow off. I had Monday and Tuesday, if today's Wednesday. I had the last 2 days off, and then I worked today, and then I have tomorrow off, which is very nice because like I haven't had a clump of days off together. Normally I'm like, I have 1 day off and then I work for 3 days and then have another day off, so I'm getting like my 2 days off, but it's it's a very different experience than like actually getting a weekend constantly. Like it's still like I'm still only making like 30 hours, but like not many days off because they're all short shifts, and it's just like constantly having to go into work. It's kind of stressful. But I did read one of my arcs that I got from work. I finished The Lucky One by Lori Raider Day, which came out on February 18th. So yesterday, as of when I'm filming this, but like who knows when, as of posting this. I don't know when this is going up. A week ago, a few days ago, who knows? It's out. I gave it 3 stars. It was very mediocre. As I've looked more into it, it does not seem very well known. And I mean, like, it does not seem like it's gonna be a super popular book. And that does make me kind of disappointed. Like, I gave it 3 stars. I didn't really like it. I found it very boring. But it was also, like, not bad, you know? Like, I've read worse. And there were a lot of things that, like, were kind of good about it. It just, like, didn't work for me in any way. So, like, I don't know. I was checking because it did come out. So I was checking to see if my store had it or if any of the stores in the area had it or were ordering copies. And none of them are. And I was like, oh, that makes me kind of sad for this author. And it's like, I don't know. And I can't even, like, say anything just because, like, I gave it kind of a bad review. And I didn't really like it. I'm going to get my review of it posted soon. I just have to film it. I haven't had time. But, like, I just feel bad that, like, her book isn't very popular at the moment. And I'm sure, like, I know there are levels of popularity, and just because it's not in my store doesn't mean people somewhere aren't loving it and whatever. But, like, I don't know. It wasn't that bad. Like, it was boring. It wasn't fantastic, but I don't know. It wasn't that bad. I've read worse for books that are more popular. So it's like, I wish her books, I feel like she deserves to have 1 copy of her book in, like, most stores. Like, that's about how the quality I felt of that book. Because I do think some people like it. It was just boring. And I don't know. Done defending that author because I know nothing about her. But I have started reading The Splendid and the Vile by Erik Larson, which I'm so excited for. It comes out next Tuesday, so, like, less than a week by a little bit. Not very far in. It is a very dense book, which I don't think is a surprise if you've read Erik Larson before. He does write kind of like very dense, very detailed, very whatever historical books, and he's a fantastic researcher. Like, he's a good writer too, don't get me wrong, but that man can research. Like, he knows everything, and it's kind of like weird how much he knows when it comes down to just like people's gestures or their preferences or like whatever. It's really well done. I really like it. It's just like about Winston Churchill, and I would say the beginning was a little bit rough just because there is a lot about like British politics at the time in here, which is probably a lot easier to follow if you are British. I'm not British. I don't know anything about British politics. Like, obviously, I know who Winston Churchill was. Obviously, I know what happened during the Blitz, and I have, like, a vague overview of, like, what the Brits experienced during World War II. But it was just going in depth on, like, who was it, Cromwell? Chamberlain? I forget who. I'm not good at names. Whoever was the prime minister before Churchill, they were kind of talking about him, and they were talking about how Churchill became prime minister and how the king was involved in all that. And it was just a lot. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just like a little bit hard to follow because there were a lot of names that like I've heard but I'm not super familiar with, so it's just like dense. And it is getting better as it goes along because I'm like getting more used to like, oh, this is this person, this is their role, this is like what's going on. And it's not bad. It's just like, it is dense, and it's about a subject that I'm aware of the Blitz, but, like, we're not really to the Blitz yet. We're still in, like, Churchill's been prime minister for, like, 4 days, and this is what he's doing, and this is the speech, and, like, this is what the government is doing, and here are the appointed ministers, and I'm like, what? But really good. As of, like, 30 pages into it, I would say if you're interested in Erik Larson, if you're interested in this book, you will probably enjoy this book. It's real good. And I also started, ignore my hand, I also started, where is it? The other book I have, You Were Here by Jan Sarter or whatever. I'll check her name at some point. But yeah, I hate this book. And I can't say that yet. I can't say it yet. I might wind up really, really enjoying it. I am like 2 chapters in, so like not very far. But last night I was feeling very anxious, and I like the Churchill book. I like the Eric Larson book. It's really good, but it's not going to distract me when I'm stressed and anxious. Like, it's not going to distract me when I'm stressed and anxious. I need like a fun thriller for that, or like a fun contemporary or something that's like easy and easily entertaining. And I was like, this thriller, fun, and like, oh my god, I hate it so much so far. And it might be just because I was like really stressed, or it might be because like the beginning's just not great, or I was tired or confused, but like I had the hardest time following along. And she phrased the sentence vaguely like Yoda, kind of. It's like, that's an exaggeration, but like kind of in a similar way, where like sometimes her sentences are like weirdly phrased or backward, or hang on, let me find an example if I can find one on like this page. One in a long line of exquisite women. Hannah seemed not to even glimpse her own beauty, so accustomed was she to the sight. Like, no one talks like that. No one says so accustomed was she to the sight. They'll be like, oh, she was so accustomed to the sight. Like, that sounds natural. It doesn't sound natural. And it's like, that's one sentence, but like every sentence is like that. Like, she's a big fan of like, I don't know, it just feels unnecessarily convoluted. Like, she's trying so hard to have an artsy literary style. But again, I'm only like 2 pages in. I'm only 2 chapters in, and it's like past tense, or not past tense and present tense. It's like in the past and in the present, and it alternates chapters, I think. Judging by the first 2, the first 3, they alternate. And it's just like, it seems confusing. Like, I don't know who any of the people in the past are, and the main character seems annoying. But it's also like, I'm only 2 chapters in, and thrillers are like, you're supposed to be confused and have no idea what's going on 2 chapters into a thriller. So we'll see. But this could honestly be a book I DNF just because I'm working on the Eric Larson book. And if I just like never happen to get back to this, I'm only a little bit in, so I could see it just sitting there until it's due. And then me just pretending it doesn't happen. So we'll see. But hopefully I do get back to it and finish it, because like, I'm hoping it does get better. I heard really good things. It might just be that it starts a little rough, or that I was just in a weird mood at the time, and I don't know. But that's what's going on. I haven't vlogged in a minute because I have no space on my phone, ever. So yeah, that's why there are long updates and fewer of them instead of brief updates every day, because I'm lazy. I actually turned the light on today, or my filming light, I turned that on, so I'm not just vlogging in the dark. You're welcome. I went to the library yesterday, which I didn't vlog about when I did because my phone was full. I picked up 5 Dark Fates, which is the 4th and final book in the 3 Dark Crowns series. I forget what it's called, but I did finish the 2nd book. I don't know if I talked about that in the vlog. I liked it. Left me concerned for book 3, but I did quite like it. I gave it 4 stars as well, so I'm hoping I'll finish up this series early in March. Have not made progress on The Splendid and the Vile, but I have made a lot more progress on You Were Here. I'm like halfway. Am I halfway? Yeah, I'm about halfway through it. I don't hate it anymore. Like, I've definitely, like, the first 2 chapters I was like, oh no, I'm not down. And then as I've gone through, like, it's not as bad, like, by a lot. I do actually quite like it. I still don't like her writing style, but now that I've actually figured out who all the characters are and how they relate to each other and like what all the relationships are, I'm a lot less confused. Because before I couldn't figure out like what their relationships were. I was like, who are you? What are you doing here? Like, are you the wife? Are you the girlfriend? Are you the neighbor? Like, I didn't know, and now I know, so it's gotten a lot better. But I still don't really like her writing style. I probably won't read another book of hers just on the basis of how much I don't like it. I'm imagining this will probably be 3 stars, but like, I do kind of like the story. And I saw one review that said the book started off really slow, but definitely got a lot better. And I think I agree with that. Like, I'm hoping it still gets better from here because it's still not great, but like, the ending was a little rough. So that's about where I'm at. I really need to start my readathon books, so I need to get back to The Secret History. I have a lot on my plate this month. I think I have like 7 books that I have left to read in February, and it's the 20th, so we have like 9 days left. Like, that's not good, but trying really hard to just like keep up with everything and read a bunch.